Pinterest. It's a company with decent revenue, a loss, which I guess is kind of the trend now. But why are they moving this up? Because we really weren't expecting this IPO for maybe a couple more months, right? Yeah, that's right. But the window seems to have slammed wide open for these IPOs. Been endless news this week of sort of Lyft prepping to go next week. Uber's filing expected in April, with us hearing what exchange they're going for. So it seems like everything's really accelerating in this process, and people are just going while they can.
How sustainable does the business look? Because with some of these, their losses are still gigantic, and there still seem to be open questions about whether they'll get to profitability. When you look at Pinterest, does this look like a company that has a fairly clear path to making money?
It looks different. It's a huge unicorn, and it has shrinking losses. So revenue grew by about a third last year, up to 750 million, but losses shrunk to 63 million. That's sort of way down. So they're heading in the right direction, which is different from a lot of these other companies. They're 100% reliant on advertising, so it kind of depends on that market. But it seems like they think there's a lot of room to grow. They say of their top 1,000 sort of posts at the moment, 97% are not branded. So they see a huge opportunity
97%.
there.
Liz, I'm interested in what are some of the themes coming on here. Yeah, we can distinguish NASDAQ versus NYSE for, Uber and Pinterest versus Lyft. But what's been growing is, for Lyft, obviously plenty of demand, but also thin on really explanation of their overall business model, how they're going to hit profitability, and maybe control of the company, like we saw with Snap, many worrying about the control over voting rights the CEOs have. Do we know whether that's being extrapolated across the others? Are there any growing concerns across all of them about basically how much information they give us?
I think there's a bit of a disconnect here between some of the sort of deep analysis that people are doing and what investors want. Yeah. It's been a long time since we had a big tech IPO. You think back to Snap in 2017. People are hungry for these kind of stocks. If you get the timing right and the markets stay fairly open to this, then investors just seem to want to lap it up.
Is there any concern about the age of these companies? I mean, Pinterest was founded, what, almost 10 years ago?
Almost 10 years ago. But that's not unusual at the moment. We've seen, a lot of these like mega unicorns, Uber, Lyft, they're both mature companies.
Both a decade old as well, right?
So it sort of joins those. And I mean, with Pinterest, it sort of shows that they've had time to mature the model, to figure out how to monetize it, and they seem to be heading in the right direction.
Break it down a little bit further. So it's mostly ad-based at this point, the revenue?
100% ad-based.
Is there, Snap, obviously, there was fear that, look, Facebook and Alphabet and now Amazon is dominating. So is that a concern for Pinterest? And also, is there e-commerce opportunities down the road for them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think sort of what we've seen Instagram do is probably a good sort of model for this, to start sort of monetizing the posts. They go into detail in the prospectus. They try and tell the stories of the people that use this. The guy in Argentina who uses it for his fashion choices, his leather boots. So you can see they're sort of using the prospectus to appeal to advertisers here and show how there could be opportunities for them to kind of do link-ups with branded postings and maybe eventually sort of click-throughs.